When I was a kid, I always looked at music from a two-dimensional perspective. I mean, I was a kid. How else was I supposed to look at music? Every time my parents put on the radio or put on gospel music through their phone, I thought to myself, this is the way music is supposed to be. It's supposed to have singers, it's supposed to uplift people, it's supposed to be something we can all relate to. But music isn't supposed to be anything. It's what the artist thought about when making it, and it's how the listeners perceive it. Now, obviously, my IQ was below average at the age of 8, but when I grew up, I started to realize just how important music is. I noticed that it made me feel things that nothing could. It was instant sadness or immediate happiness. It was beautiful and weird and addictive. I guess the only way to describe music is everything. It's everything our world became. It's everything our humanity is or wants to be. It's every emotion, every experience, every love story, every psychedelic trip, every scary narrative, and every second of hard work being put into a song. However, art is often exploited. When people make music, sometimes it's not for the feeling. It could be for money, recognition, or even obligation. I fear that music can become bigger than the person making it, and that if we keep this mindset with trying to create something beautiful, music will never be the same. And that is why you're not crazy. Music is changing. Now, whether that's a good or bad thing isn't up to me. It's really up to the people who listen to it and make it. As time goes by and we start to see more rules and regulations built around making music, it's not weird to say that artists have a hard time having the passion to make music. And how good, really, can your music be without passion? It also brings up the question if small artists are bigger. It also brings up the question, do smaller artists have more passion to make music? I mean, it would make the most sense, right? I think that is an advantage that smaller artists have against big artists, because big artists, they don't necessarily always do it for, the views or the money or the fame or whatever, but it would make more sense, right? Smaller artists who maybe don't have that, they care more about their sound and they care more about just doing what they want, because to them it's what they enjoy doing. Maybe to a big artist, it's what they have to do. It's what they've been doing, and it's who they are, so why would you ever quit? What's the passion in that? I think a big part of what makes music really fun to listen to is the message or the intent that the person making the song wanted it to be. And it's tough to say whether small artists do it more than big artists, or if big artists do it more than small artists, because it's really just up to the person if they want to make a song that's heartfelt or meaningful or has to do with them. And big artists, they do it too. They do it all the time, and sometimes it's very good, and sometimes that can drive the passion even more. If an artist puts a message into a song, they're talking about an experience they've had, an experience they want to have, maybe the experience of somebody else. Any message put into the song makes it feel more real. It makes it feel like it's not just a song, it's something that you can connect to. It's something that you can relate to, something you can hold on to and think about all the time. A good example of this would be Are We Still Friends by Tyler, the Creator. Now I know, very popular song, very mainstream, you've probably heard it before, but it connects with people. It connects with people more than, Nokia by Drake ever will. Don't get me wrong, I like Nokia, but what the hell is the message? In Are We Still Friends, it's an experience that so many people have that how could you not connect to it? Even one time I was showing it to my mom. She hates the song. She hates it so much, but even she understood what the message was, because she was telling me, this sounds like somebody is asking you to still be friends over and over and over. And I was like, yeah, that's what it is. And although my mom maybe can't relate to it that much, she can see why others relate to it, because if somebody's gone through that experience, the song cuts deeper. And without passion, it really wouldn't be possible to make something so meaningful. Now, I talk about this a lot with Keelan Christopher Cragg. I did a podcast episode with, which you can watch. Link is in the description, or like this thing's gonna pop up right here. It was super great talking about music with him, and I just want to show you some clips of us talking because I think that he can explain it very well.
Yeah, there's something like, I don't know, like when I'm alone, I just like things just happen. Like there literally is no right or wrong. It's just like whatever you feel. And that's partly why I don't have like a writer. I don't have a producer. I don't have all this other stuff because like I don't and this is not in any like sort of selfish way, but this is I don't feel the need to be questioned when I'm making my stuff. Like I don't feel the need to be like make a certain part of the song and someone be like, "Oh, are you sure about that?" Like
Oh
just
yeah.
because they're in the room. You know what I mean? Like, or like, "Oh, maybe you should turn it up." Like, just let me, like, if you don't, like, not to say that it would be better or worse if I did take that person's advice, but like, in your eyes, like, let me be wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I honestly, it's not about being right or wrong for me. It's literally just about what I feel. So,
Yeah.
nothing I ever do, whatever it, on and like previously too, ever will ever be for like a specific audience, or like, oh, I gotta make this type of song, or like, oh, I'm never thinking in the studio like, oh, will people get this part? Like, it's never a thought of like, oh, are people gonna like it, or are people gonna connect with this, or are people gonna get it? It's never that, never, ever. And it's always just like, I just always describe it like this. I literally always say like, it's just like whatever I think is cool. That's what,
Yeah.
whatever I think is cool, because it's my music. Like I said, I mean, like, literally at the end of the day, I don't have to release any of this stuff, like, and I'd still be just as happy. Like, it's not about releasing music, and like, I don't want it to make it sound like I'm undermining like the human interaction, because literally talking with people and hearing what they think and how they feel about a song or a project or a lyric or anything is like top of the bar, like stuff that I like feel for, like what I care about. And also, like, simultaneously, I'm never doing it specifically, because as soon as you're trying to like actively thinking like, oh, I gotta make a hit, or oh, I gotta like appease the audience, like, that's not real anymore.
Yeah.
This is the cool story. I don't know if I told anybody this. I'm about to take a shower. This is so weird. I was about to take a shower. It's like late one night. I literally went to my laptop. I think like, dude, this is you're getting all the details. This might be too much.
Hey, let's go.
Dude, I think I was literally just like, like genuinely, I think I was probably naked, like at my laptop, and like recorded and like probably wrote that song, like sitting in my chair with no clothes on. And it can sound very like corporate, like
Exactly.
like industry kind of thing.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, like my record label wanted me to make this, so I had to.
Yeah. Like people get really blown away that like I like make this in my bedroom, but like, dude, would you really expect to get this kind of music from like a professional? Like, really think about that for a second. You know what I mean?
Do you think that you would ever like sign to a record label, or do you think that you want to stay independent?
I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, it's not even about like I want to be independent, like, necessarily. Like, it's not even about like I do everything. Like, I can do everything myself. Like, there's nothing I really need. I mean, like, a record label can do whatever, and connections can do whatever, but like, I mean, it's not necessarily about signing, or like I feel like obligated to sign or something. For me, it's just honestly about like having the right people than anything. Like, people can give me like people can people get really caught up in like numbers and stuff when like if they get a deal or something.
Yeah.
And like I've learned a lot in like my experience. People offer you a ton of money, but like, are they the right people? Like, it's true. I like And that's honestly what I don't care much about. Like, I don't really care about like hitting notes necessarily or like things being perfect because like I like I'm literally broken record, but like it's like never about like being right or wrong or like if you hit this note or that note. I love when people like in a good way. I love when people screw up like
Yeah.
or like make mistakes because it's real. You know what I mean? And I love like putting if you like soloed out like some of the like backing vocals or like whatever in a lot in like almost all the songs, if not all of them. Like a lot of them are like tragically like off key or like weird and like in like voice cracked or like whatever. But like when you put them all together or like in this context, it like sounds like this. It's so cool. Isn't that isn't that interesting how like the culmination of all these mistakes build up to this like one huge voice that is just like outpouring these lyrics and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And that is feeling. That's not about being perfect or being correct or being right or wrong or like being accurate. Like
Yeah.
you're just doing it. You're just doing it.
Now, I want to talk about record labels because record labels is a huge part of the music industry, and sometimes it can lead to issues with music. To this day, even huge artists aren't making the money that they should be making because record labels will take half of the profits. There's nothing necessarily wrong with signing to a record label. I think that if you want to get your music promoted, if you want to get connections, it's a good way, but oftentimes we see that it can lead to complications that make artists not want to make music anymore. Even if artists, they don't care about the money cuts don't matter to them, they still have a lot of restrictions on the music that you can make, what you want to say, how you want to manage your social image, your sound, what makes you unique, just to make it marketable, just to make it easier to sell to people. It can make so many artists lose passion. It's almost impossible to leave a contract from a record label if there's like an inexperienced artist or a smaller artist who doesn't really know the dangers of signing to a record label. It can be so dangerous, and there's so many chances to be exploited by a record label where they can basically control all the profits you make, they can control the music that you make, and you don't really have a say. It's difficult to leave, and it often can lead to legal disputes, and they almost never really get resolved because it's such a difficult thing to work through legally. And that brings me to another point. Because music is subjective, the work that gets put into it is not. You can listen to a song, and if you like it, then you like it. No one should be able to tell you, no, that song is terrible, and the reason you like it,
irrelevant.
but it's not that way. And it actually it is that way. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is that way, but it shouldn't be, and it doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes I'll listen to the worst song that I've ever heard in my life, and I'd love it. But then you also have to look at the work that gets put into music. That doesn't necessarily tell you if a song is good or not, but it can tell you a lot about what you're listening to. Once people become relevant in music, after that it doesn't really become, how do I make my next album better? How can I make my sound better? How can I improve? It becomes, how can I stay relevant? Because if people liked my music, then it doesn't matter what I do. I can just continue making music. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to even be from me. I just need music out there. But how am I going to stay relevant? And it comes with the pressure of being the best in the music industry. Now, it's going to be a little tough, but let me break it down for you. Kanye West is one of those people. In fact, he's probably the biggest example I can use. He was once the greatest of all time because he was so good at making beats. He was so good at rapping. He dropped the college dropout. He released Late Registration, Graduation, all fantastic albums. And he's been on a roll for a long time, just making bangers and bangers. Bangers after bangers, straight bangers. And I know bangers. After time started to go by, he realized they love me no matter what. And he released Vultures. I'm telling you right now, Ty Dolla $ign wasn't on that album. If he didn't help carry it, it would have been unlistenable. It would have been probably the worst garbage I've ever heard. And it really shows that Kanye West doesn't really care about his music anymore. And it's sad. It's genuinely sad because, you know, like I'll listen to his old music and I was like, where
did he go?
But it's disappointing. And instead of trying to improve his music, instead of actually trying, he thinks to himself, how can I stay relevant? And that's where the tweets come in and the interviews come in, where he's just blatantly racist and disgusting. A lot of people think that he's going mentally insane, which could be true. A lot of people think that, you know, he's just doing it for publicity. I think it's both of them combined. After a long time of having so much people like you, you think to yourself, I can do anything. I think in his eyes, he can make whatever and people like it, but that's not true because people can tell the difference between real, raw passion and just making shit to make shit. A big part of it is also that he wants to stay relevant. We can kind of see that right before he'll release an album, he'll just go on a rant, he'll just say some stupid shit and it'll work. He'll get millions, hundreds of millions of plays because everybody's talking about how terrible Kanye is. And then he releases an album, people want to hear it. I wanted to hear it. I wanted to hear Vultures so bad. I wanted to hear Bully so bad. I think Kanye West is a great example of how music is changing. And when somebody doesn't have the urge to improve, they don't have the urge to like make something better, then it declines. Luckily though, there are artists who still have the passion, or new artists who have even more passion, and they'll make it. They'll make it. It's really just up to them to keep the passion. I know I said I'm not going to bring Drake back into this, but I do actually have to talk about this. He was exposed for
So much.
pedophilia. He was exposed for leaving his son. He's a terrible guy. He is a disgusting human being. So then how is he still at the top of the charts? And it's because people, they don't care about how bad a person is. Let me rephrase that. They don't care how bad a musical artist is. Let's take for an example a YouTuber. You can cancel a YouTuber and they'll be done for because people will just see them so differently. They will perceive them like completely fake and completely ignorant. So watching their videos is like, why am I watching this? Like, it feels wrong. But when it comes to music, you don't feel that, because when Kanye's rapping, you don't think to yourself, oh, he's a terrible person. Okay, wait, maybe yeah, does say a lot of crazy shit in his music. But when you're listening to Drake, you're not like, oh, he's the guy who liked talking to little kids. He's the one who made One Dance. It's like, how do we let artists get away with this? And I'll tell you why. It's because people enjoy music way more than they care about the artist or who they are. I'm not gonna say I'm not guilty of it. I still listen to Kanye West. I still listen to Drake. Now, I don't have like a big point on this. I'm not here to be like, you need to stop listening to artists because they're a bad person, because I know that that's not gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen to myself, but I think that that's a good point to bring up because we really like music, and it doesn't matter if it's fake. It doesn't matter if the person's like terrible. The person who made it is terrible. It doesn't matter if they use ghostwriters or if they used AI. If they're completely off the rails and can't say a cohesive sentence, music is music and we'll listen to it either way. But it just sucks to know that, because yeah, in 530, Kanye West used AI for one of his parts. That's not anything new, but it's like, is that really where we're headed? Where like the artists can't even put their voice on it? I need to calm down. I'm getting a little too amped up. I have a lot of shit to say about Kanye. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is AI music. Now, you've probably heard the song Telescope by Twin. I know that I have, and for a long time I thought that, it was Travis Scott. When I heard the song, I was like, yo, I've never heard this Travis Scott song with Playboi Carti. And I go to look it up, and I find out that it is not them. It is some random guy who used their voices to make the song. Now, granted, the song is good. The song is good. But are we really... Is that the way it's supposed to be now? Like, we don't have to use our voice. Like, we can use an artist who's massive. Playboi Carti and Travis Scott, they're like the biggest right now. There's no rules against it. Travis Scott, Playboi Carti, they didn't ask to have their voices used on AI for people to just use. And I don't think it's necessarily just Twin that's the issue here. I think it's normalizing it that's the problem, because when you normalize using AI, everybody will start using it, and pretty soon a lot of people's ideas, a lot of people's voices or thoughts or messages can get so watered down because you literally have a robot making the music for you. On paper, what's the problem with humans being able to connect to AI? But in the long run, is that really the question that we're asking? We're asking, what is the issue with humans being able to connect to AI? The issue is that we shouldn't be able to, because it's not us. It's somebody pretending to be us. It's something pretending to make the art form that humans have worked years, so long to perfect. And it's gonna be overshadowed by something that can make it in seconds just from copying other people. I need to calm down. It's not that humans care too much about it. It's that in the long run, we'll start to see the decline of connection in music, human connection. And it's not just AI. It's just if an artist wants to make an album, but their record label doesn't want them to do a certain thing, doesn't want them to say certain things, they'll lose the passion. Then there's no really human connection in that. My parents were telling me about how when they put on music, whatever emotion the artist wants them to feel is what they feel, which I agree. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're telling me how they hate listening to sad music because they don't want to be sad. And that is something that I do have to disagree with, because I don't listen to music just to feel happy. I do it because I want to feel something. I want to feel anything. When I was having the talk with Kellan, we were talking about this and how music has such an impact on how you feel, but why would you just limit yourself to feeling happy? You could listen to the most soul-crushing album and feel sad, because maybe sometimes feeling sad is more emotion than feeling happy. Maybe I put on a heavy metal album so I can feel angry or amped up. Sometimes that feels, maybe that emotion is stronger than happiness sometimes. So I guess now it's time to get to the conclusion of what the future of music looks like. I have no clue. I think it's always changing. I think it's always subjective. There's so many artists who make great music, so many artists who make mediocre music. I don't think there's necessarily ever bad music except Hobo Johnson. Sorry, Hobo Johnson. But I think all music is just steered towards another group of people. It's steered towards somebody who wants to feel a certain emotion, or they're connected to this music in a certain way. What I do know for sure is that music will always be changing, and I just hope that we take it in the right direction.